I'd like to call the meeting of the Plaquemines Parish Council for April 11th, 2024 to order at 2:04 p.m. Machines are open for a roll call. All 9 council members are present. At this time, we'll stand for the opening prayer by Dr. Gouy and pledge led by Ms. McCarty.
Take this moment to acknowledge Almighty God and thank Him for our bountiful blessings, especially for the parish's natural resources. We give thanks to God for our brave and courageous men and women in our military who daily risk their lives to protect our precious freedom. And we pray for our world leaders to know how to obtain world peace. We pray for this government body comprised of both council and administration, and that we will always serve our parish with honesty, humility, and equality to all. And as this government body gathers here today, we pray for the wisdom to know right from wrong and the courage to do that which is right. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here you go, Richard Stands.
At this time, we're going to skip item number 2, going to 3, please.
Agenda item 3, proclamations. A proclamation declaring the month of April 2024 as Fair Housing Month in the parish of Plaquemines. The 55th anniversary of the National Fair Housing Law, Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 during the month of April is an occasion for all Americans, individually and collectively, to rededicate themselves to the principle of freedom from housing discrimination whenever it exists. The law guarantees for each citizen the critical personal element of freely choosing a home. A fair housing law has been passed by the state of Louisiana, and implementation of the law requires the positive commitment, involvement, and support of each of our citizens. The department and agencies of the state of Louisiana are to provide leadership in the effort to make fair housing not just an idea, but an ideal for all our citizens. Barriers that diminish the rights and limit the options of any citizen to freely choose a home will ultimately diminish the rights and limit the options of all. That's it.
With that, I ask for a second. Unanimous second. Any objections? Seeing none, passes unanimously. Anybody has any comments? Mr. Edwards?
You know, every year I comment on this. While there's some really pretty flowery words within this language, it's still, when we look at the elevation of our community, houses elevate 18 feet, that's unfair treatment to poor people in this community. So I just think that we have a lot of work to do while I support this document, but we had to really get, as a parish, we really have fair housing. And as long as we have full elevation where people elevate house 18 feet, I was telling most of my people yesterday, if a hurricane, tornado, would have came like hit, Slidell hit the east bank of the river, the majority of people on the east bank can't come back because the FEMA was full 18 feet elevation. And I just hope as we ponder today that we begin to make an effort to change that rule, because as long as that's in place, fair housing exists in Plaquemines Parish. So I just wanted to use this opportunity to make that statement.
Yes, sir. Any other comments from the table? From the audience? Administration? Oh, yes, sir. Come on. State your name and address.
Clarence Brox, 156 Crossover Lane, Phoenix, Louisiana. Like Reverend Edwards just now mentioned, there's other things that's stopping us from having fair housing. Our flood insurance that went up in most of District 1. We can't even buy flood insurance. So how are we going to have a fair housing act? And also, the homeowner insurance went up from $2,000 to $12,000. And our average income on that side of the river is like $30,000 the max. A lot of people go $20,000, and people want to put houses in the area, but they can't afford it because they can't afford the elevation, they can't afford the insurance, they can't afford none of these things. So that's not fair housing. If we're going to do it just for the month of April, let's do it for the whole year and for District 1. We cannot survive over there on that side of the river because of the fair housing. There was a young man that was serving in the military. He went to Afghanistan. he married a hometown girl in District 1, and he came to, he went and purchased a mobile home. He also purchased the land, and when he got went to get the permit, they say he cannot put his home on his property because he can't afford to elevate a house 18 feet in the air. So that's not fair housing for him. He had to go to another parish to live. So if we're going to do fair housing, let's do it the right way for the whole year and all oncoming years also. I might be a little bit out of place, but that's the way I feel. It's hurting us. I'm 69 years old. If I lose my home, if I get 50% damage to my home, I cannot come back and repair my home. I gotta elevate it. Then I can repair it. That's not fair housing. That's not fair. I thank you.
Yes, sir. Mr. Henry?
I echo what Mr. Brock said. This is good for a month, but hey, we need a whole new housing program here. You know what I'm saying? Some people really, really need housing. It's critical. And Mr. Edwards, I commend you for it, but, Mr. Schultz, your deal, but we need to have a whole housing program here, man. It's much needed. Much needed. And Mr. Edwards, I want to direct my attention to you. You know we've been at this for a long time. So now you in that spot, I'm going to look for some bigger and better things on that issue, all right?
Thank you for the bullseye, Mr. Henry.
Any other comments from the audience? Machines are open. Oh, wait. Oh, yes, go ahead, Mr. President.
Reverend, I couldn't agree with you more.
he on?
We've got a lot of issues on housing, not only on the East Bank, but on the West Bank right now. If we wouldn't have to be dealing with these elevation issues, we would have a housing boom in Fort Sulphur, Buras, and even on the East Bank side of the river. Because look, you have that's a haven on the East Bank side of Plaquemines Parish, and but again, I couldn't agree with you more.
And Sister Hendry, the council is not proposing this Fair Housing Month. This is a national proclamation that they're asking all council members. So this is not nothing that we initiate. So I was making a statement, but I want you to think that this council is doing this on its own. This is a national fair housing thing that all councils across the United States is doing.
Yes, sir. Any other comments? Machines are open. Passes 9-0.
4, status report by the parish president.
Pretty much short and sweet here. We're following two bills up in Baton Rouge that are real important to us right now. Senate Bill 88, which is dealing with Senator Connick. I believe we have a resolution that's going to come before us today. I believe the language is to our satisfaction, so we'll be able to get that resolution up to him by Wednesday so that he can move forward and he'll have our support, which will help him in committee there. Here's another one. I'll be up in Baton Rouge 9 o'clock Monday morning. Jerome Zarang. It's House Bill 936, which deals with the CPRA and the fact how this bill is concerning is not having to follow local laws, and that when it comes and pertains to the state's master plan. So we're opposed to it. I know PACE is opposed to it. The Police Jury Association Chair Guy Cormier, it's my understanding that he's opposed to it, which carries a lot of weight up in Baton Rouge. But I'm still going to get on the phones tomorrow and with the coastal parish presidents and lobby hard to get their support to go against this bill here, because it's not good. And what it is, he wants to do this retroactively, so it would eliminate the suit that we have in the 25th Circuit right now. We got together this week on the government complex for the master plan to see how we want to design the complex as far as what departments are out here, and these are things that this is not going to happen. Well, the plan, we have a deadline, I believe it's in the middle of July, where we have to be completed with that. But these are projects, again, just like our water projects, this is probably a 10-year or better plan. Next, there's a resolution that's going to be coming up a little later on the agenda. It's dealing with the Arts, Parks, and Recreation, the appointment of the director. And Ms. Morrison is here today, so when that time comes up, we'll be able to introduce you to her in an open forum. And so looking forward to that, and looking forward to her to come working with us. It's going to be pretty exciting. So that's about what I have here today.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. Any comments from the audience? From the table? Next item, please.
Update by Charter Directors.
Good afternoon, everyone. Quick update, follow-up from yesterday. We had quite a bit of rain yesterday, most of the day. The good news is we only had one minor incident of all the pump stations running. It was Bell Chase 1 at the end of Barrier Road. One small little part you can hold in your hand shut down the whole station for a few hours. They did get that repaired yesterday evening and resumed pumping right away. Didn't cause any issues. No street flooding was a result of it. It was just, if I didn't tell you, nobody would know. We did have some street flooding on the north side of the bridge. Of course, Ms. Patty's been dealing with that. Again, minor, didn't flood any houses. It's just a nuisance to the people who live there. We get that. We do everything we can. The negative on that side is we don't have much control on the north side because that's all through Jefferson Parish's pumping system. I believe in Braithway, you had a couple that called about some what we would consider minor street flooding, but again, we understand it's in front of their house, so it's major to them. No risk of damaging anything, flooding their houses, cars, nothing like that at all. But it was a lot of rain in I wouldn't even say a short period of time. It was all day long. The pump operators did everything they were supposed to do the day before prior. They pumped all the canals down, so everything went the way it was supposed to go. The only one issue was that one part failure. And again, most of, you know the status. Our pump stations are all older than most of us. That all went pretty smooth. Follow up on a couple things we talked about 2 weeks ago. Highway 11 project, those contractors dropped some equipment, started tinkering around, doing some gauging, which is down the side of the asphalt road to see thicknesses, to start scheduling who's doing what. Of course, rain slowed that down a little bit yesterday. That's they should be getting on that this coming Monday. Should be full-fledged on that area down there in Empire Tiberias. Tie Maker Road, they should be mobbing in a week or so there. Same contract, it's all been awarded and done. It's just a matter of getting them a timing line to get set up. We have spoke to a couple of neighbors because they've called us, just randomly happened to call. We did tell them what was going on. They were happy as could be, tickled pink. We do want to kind of coordinate with the construction that's going on in the end of the street. We don't want to block up the street, and then they got to block up the street, and we're working against each other. So we're trying to deal with him to coordinate some things on that side of the street. Other than that, that's Ironton Playground. Ms. Taylor's people, Brenda and Deidre and Purchison's been jumping through hoops to help us get those three pieces of that pie together. It's the playground fencing, the playground equipment itself, and to get all of that stuff together, and the portable restroom facility that's going to be placed there. All that's in line now. POs are being issued. It's just a matter of getting it delivered and getting it installed, and that's going to be a huge win for the Ironton area too. They've been waiting a long time for that stuff. Other than that, that's all I have. Some blacktop issues on the East Bank. They delivering those barricades to the Gravelly Bridge today. The DOT is the large concrete barricades to block the bridge. DOTD is not satisfied with the temporary Type 3 type barricades that are there. Even though they're not ready to start, Gravelly Road Bridge, they're not ready to start the project, but they want the concrete barricades there so that they can say it says DOTD on it, it's their project, they're starting it. While those guys are there today doing that, they were going to ride from Phoenix South and mark the larger holes, prioritize the larger. I spoke to Ms. Tasia. She's going to get a priority list. If we say post office is the first spot we want to repair, that way they don't run out of material doing little ones and we missed a couple big ones. So we'll be communicating with you on that, on what you want to prioritize on that side. And again, when these few road projects are done, then we'll be moving on to those phase 2, which is the Avenue G area stuff and all of that right there. For the most part, everything's going good. If we have any issues, we'll reach out to you. If you have any questions or concerns, reach out to us like always. Anytime you need something, just let us know. That's all I have.
Thank y'all. Just a couple of things. Temporary RV parks, there is a total of 729 approved spots of temporary RV spaces. The breakdown is, of course, the majority of them are in District 7. There's 555 in District 7, 83 in District 8, and 91 in District 9. 91. That's approved. There are a total of 97 pending council approval.
Can you give us these numbers again?
Yes, sir. District 7, and I'll send you this breakdown of all of the temporary spaces. District 7 has 555. District 8 has 83. And District 9 has 91. And there's 97 spaces pending council approval. I'm sorry? This is temporary. Right, that's permitted. We're constantly sending out the inspector to inspect both the approved and spaces that are out of compliance. Letters are going out constantly. If you guys get any calls, please let us know. We don't have someone on the road 24/7, but the residents are. So if y'all get the calls, please forward them to me, either my office or Amitra's office, and we'll get the inspector out and do what we need to do to get these guys in compliance. Bell Chase Auditorium, the parts for the air condition is ordered. They'll start tearing out the old equipment next week, and I expect that to be done within the next 2 weeks. Mosquito fog trucks, they're all calibrated. They're all ready to go. Of course, the wind this past week is not allowed them to spray. It looks like the wind should die down by sometime tomorrow, by the weekend, and they'll be running their routes. The plane has passed inspection as of yesterday. They're doing the what they call the droplet inspection on the pump. That's going to be done probably early next week, and we'll be ready to put the plane up. Hopefully at least once a week, once a month. If we could get it up more often, then we'll do that. But that's all I have. Again, just like Billy said, if y'all have any issues, don't hesitate to reach out. You volunteer, Chris?
I'll fly it.
Okay.
I can fly it. I just need somebody to operate the other stuff, but I can fly the plane.
Can you land it?
Hey, I flew for
That's part of it.
7 years.
Thank y'all.
All right, any comments from the audience? State your name and address, Mr. Clark.
My name's David Clark, live at 108 Avenue A in Bell Chase. Hearing those numbers of temporary RV parks, I definitely would question some of those numbers. I've been one of those guys out looking around and definitely doing some inspections myself. District 6 also has some. I didn't see any numbers for District 6. I know there's a couple that's on the book to be approved, and hopefully we get that today and get to approve those, or at least put them on the agenda. But I'm hoping that we find it in ourselves. I mean, we still got a lot of traffic heading out that highway, and we got people that want to develop these things. We're looking at shutting down 45 plus illegal RV parks, is my understanding. That's the numbers that we had last council meeting, and I think we just mentioned it again. Hopefully we can look at that ordinance and try to adjust that like we want to do with the food trucks and try to make it work where at least the residents of Plaquemines Parish have the opportunity to make some money off their property. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for some of these people, and hopefully we don't stop those individuals for capitalizing on this. Don't have a problem with someone coming from out of town, purchasing property and building a development. There's a lot of room. We didn't mention the motel coming up just below the Ordinite plant, 250 spots. There's 50 mobile homes that moved in. I've never seen that anywhere on the agenda, never seen it approved. I know I've talked to a couple of council members about it, and it's not a secret. I mean, it's obvious. You can go back there and you can see it. These kind of things are concerning to people like myself that have been trying for almost a year now to develop my property and do something with my property. I've called in numerous council members. I've tried to address this thing. I'm trying to do it legally. I've done everything possible that I possibly can, along with Mr. Billwood. I'll mention him because he's not here because his father's ill. But we got people wanting to do things legally and want to follow the process, and we're asking for your help, the council members, and we're not getting it. But I'm seeing developments come up, and it's like we put them on the list, and that's as far as we go with it. I don't think we need to cut these people off. If they got an opportunity to make money, let's let them make money. If they got them filled, that's a good thing, right? If they got these RV parks filled, let's make them legal. Let's do some adjustments and see what we can do to help them out. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
156 Crossover Land, Phoenix, Louisiana. Just a comment on Mr. Bill, what he said about the pumping stations. They're older than some of us in here. I got it by a couple of years, but I got it though. Are we all going to do something about these old, out-of-date pumping stations? Because yesterday we had a lot of rain, but it was not considered as a Category 1 or tropical storm or nothing like that. The water left the canals that was coming into the yard. Now I went and checked again this morning. The water is leaving the yards, but the canal is still flooded because the pumps is not up to right today. Can we do something with the pumps, getting new pumping stations? And I got a couple of ditches. I put my boots on yesterday and walked around. There was a couple of ditches, it just need minor maintenance to it, and a lot of that water come out of Phoenix, out of people's yards. Thank you.
You want to, okay. Oh, yeah, sure, yeah, good point. Yeah, we passed a bond last year for a lot of repairs, 2 bonds actually, or 1 bond, 1 loan from the state to work on the pumping stations, and we just reappropriated $1-something million back to the East Bank pumping station to work on some of these major repairs. So it's coming. It's just, unfortunately, time consuming. Any other comments from the audience? Yep. Yes, sir. State your name and address, please.
Louis McAnespy, Lake Hermitage, 150 West Shirley. Commercial fisherman. Still haven't got the canal dredged for me to go to work. So I decided to put a couple trailers on to pay my bills. And now y'all gonna take that from me?
I don't know about
Any
you.
answers?
I mean,
No answers. Y'all gonna take that from me?
well, I'm just saying, did you follow the permit process and all that? I mean, if you did legally, then no, you're fine.
I've been having this since 30 years ago
I don't know.
when they had the shutdowns at the plant, and I had the okay to do it. Now, should I be grandfathered in or what?
I don't know your particular case.
Well-
I mean, I would have, you
Mr.
have to give a permit.
McCaskey, if there
You
is
know,
a
it's like nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Mr. McCaskey, if I could.
Please.
Thank you. There is a process, there is a grandfathering process, and if you are approved for that grandfathering, you still have to go through the process of being permitted. So you can contact the permit office and they'll walk you through that process. We're not looking to shut anybody down. We're asking folks to go through that proper process of being permitted and come into compliance. we're not looking to shut anybody down. We're just asking them to go through the process.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other comments from the audience?
Hello, my name is Sage Franz. I'm at 1212 Independence Street in New Orleans. I'm here with Sunrise Movement in coalition with the Lake Hermitage community. And I just wanted to bring a question to Mr. DeMarco because we had a town hall meeting on Tuesday where several of the people that were here and the council members were able to answer some questions from the community about the water issues that have been happening. And one of the things that came up was that there was a promise made that there would be certain hydrants that were shut down and enforced, that there wouldn't be any more pulling from those hydrants from water tanks. So I just wanted to ask Mr. DeMarco if he could update the community and the room about what has happened since that meeting around the enforcement of pulling from those specific hydrants.
Yes, ma'am. I was in President Hinckley's office that next morning, and we did make those phone calls and made those requests, and we'll stay on that.
Okay, just specifically the requests, can you just verify who the requests were made to? Which companies?
The people that are currently pulling from hydrants in that area, we made those requests.
Okay. Okay, appreciate that. Also, just an update for those in the room that we will be having another town hall next Wednesday, 6 p.m. at the Hermitage Firehouse, to be able to discuss these matters further. Thank you.
Excuse me. Can you say your name, state your name again?
Sure. My name is Sage Franz, last name Franz, 1212 Independence Street. Thank you.
New Orleans, yes.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I'd like to clarify that meeting next week is for the dredging Wood Park project
Or Lake Hermitage.
for Lake Hermitage and Wood Park, yes. Not really raw water or RV related. That is for the dredging project in Wood Park.
Correct, and we posted time. We posted the time and everything through flyers and everything like that. What did you, the time or the day? No. This has been advertised. It won't get canceled. As long as, I mean, if we have severe weather, I mean, that's something different, but it will not get canceled this time. All right. Any other comments from the audience? All right, Mr. Edwards.
Yeah, Billy, we talked about this a while back, even for the rain. There's an enormous amount of water on Highway 39 like we never had before, especially between White Dish and Carlisle. It's just unbelievable. Not only the water, but it's bringing more mosquitoes in our area than ever been. And we talked about what could be done in terms of releasing some of that water. In addition to Mr. Brock was saying, there are a few ditches in Phoenix that we can get them clear. It will relieve us from that, but especially all the water. And I think Mr. Hinckley said to me, Ms. Hinckley, you did say you noticed it too. I think at the last meeting, the amount of water that was on Highway 39 as opposed to past. So what's being done to relieve that?
Well, those ditches in the Phoenix area, we're going to take care of those in-house. We think we've tracked, that property owner we think is the Delacroix Corp. We're going to try to get a contact with them that can meet us out there and basically try to work an agreement out with them to, if they can't prevent the drainage, or it's a kind of a legal mix, but if it benefits the community, even though it's private, we can go in there to try to do some kind of swales or ditches to get that water going back to the back canal. But, you know, it's all tidal. It's probably some subsidence on that land because it's been wet for so long. But we're going to try to get some kind of drainage cuts in the back of it from the backside to help get that water from the front roadside back to the back canal. But we have to get property owner permission and try to make some arrangement with them.
And the other
We discussed that after the last meeting.
Reverend Edwards, also on that same issue, we are in communications with Senator Kennedy's office to, there's some earmarks that can be done, and we're requesting some funds for that road as well to elevate that road in that area.
The other thing we're concerned about, I remember meeting with someone, and it was doing with representing FEMA, I think it was, to looking at the damage that was done by Ida so we can get reimbursed. They came in and did a cost analysis. They went over to park, the event, looking at the park light, looking at the whole football field. What's the follow-up from that? Because we still right now we could use some lights in Reverend Griffin Park.
So I know as far as I was involved in one walkthrough down there with our FEMA rep that handles some of that stuff. And everything that could be put on that list was put on that list. A lot of it, there was a lot of vandalism type issues that it made it a little cloudy, because if we were saying, hey, look, some of the light fixtures at the top were fine, the wind blew them, and they rotated to a different direction. But when someone went and ripped down all the lights and electrical, it caused damage to the lights. So they tried to scratch that off the list. That is still ongoing. I'll follow up on that and get back to you.
And last, as it relates, because we've been having a lot of conversation about these RVs coming in. I still think that, because I was at a ceremony this morning, and some residents jammed in the corner almost wanted to beat me up about the fact that they signed a lot of petition not wanting RVs in a particular neighborhood. And I remember when the Becknell was here talking about they had a lot of signatures. I just hope that we as the government really truly be fair with every community when they say we don't want RVs in our community, and respect those communities, even if the zoning board agree with the folks who want to put in there. I think the residents should have a final say. So I hope we be consistent on that part, because again, I have some people that I love dearly. They practically attacked me at the ribbon cutting ceremony this morning. So I just think that if resident rejects something, it should be respected. Thank you.
Ms. McCarty.
Mr. DeMarco, I have a list of the RV spaces that you mentioned. Could you tell me if you know how many of the RV spaces are actually occupied? So for instance, of the 555 in District 7, how many are occupied? And of the 83 in District 8 and the 91 in District 9, are they 100% occupied?
I do not have those numbers. It's hard to track those numbers with some of these contractors in and out.
Okay.
We've asked the park owners to give us a monthly update on occupancy, but it's hard to run those numbers down since contractors are constantly in and out.
And
I'll follow up on that request and see if we could get some consistent numbers coming in month to month.
Okay, thank you. And in general, if there is any communication with the bridge contractors, could y'all try to CC me on those communications? Thank you, I appreciate it.
Mr. DeMarco, so I saw the mosquito truck last Saturday. Are we to the point that we're back to regular spraying, weather permitting? And if so, can we post the schedule of where the trucks should be? I know we did last year.
Will do.
Facebook,
Will do.
on parish page, whatever, where residents can know that we're back to regular.
We're looking into, we're trying to find a basic system, a basic GPS system where we can not only post the upcoming schedule, but we could potentially post where it's been.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll put this upcoming schedule, post it, but we're looking into some things that we could actually post where the trucks have been.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Koknovich?
Yeah, Billy, we talked about the ditch across from Hart's gas station. Yesterday, Changes had water in it again, so if we could get that one cleaned up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. LaFrance?
Yes, Mr. Winters, Highway 11 in front of Diamond Park is still holding water in one spot.
We have the grader set to go down there this week to do, next week to do some of the rock roads. They're going to hit Diamond first. The skid steer makes it more of a mess than it does cleaning up. We're going to use the grader this time and do both sides of that road from end to end.
Great, thank you. Also, when would you and Mr. DeMarco be available for us to come up with some plans to move forward with Diamond Park? We need to come and, like I spoke to you, we want to build a new concession stand there, and because people used to use that park a lot, but it's unusable right now. So when can both of y'all be available and I can show you my ideas, and you can show me y'all ideas.
For me, whenever you're ready. So whatever's good for Mr. DeMarco, I'm
Same.
good.
Okay? Y'all available Monday?
Yes.
No. Sorry. Actually, I will be down there with Mr. Konovich Monday morning.
Okay.
So name a time maybe closer or after lunch.
Okay, great, wonderful.
We'll get
After
back to you
lunch,
with a time.
1 o'clock? Great, thank you.
1 o'clock.
Also, when can we move forward on trying to do something with these aprons, with these lanes that's coming to Highway 23? The aprons, we need some asphalt in these things.
Yeah, we looked at some of those spots the other day, as well as some spots mid-block in the middle, not just on the aprons. You got some concrete issues too.
Yeah.
We're going to try to do the ones we can, and we're working with engineering to try to get those into some smaller scope of some permanent repairs. Now, some questioning with the apron stuff is it's going to have to be really temporary, because you got some highway projects coming up in that down there too. So, look, it needs to be done. But we don't want to waste the material, waste the time and money to go do it, and 6 months later, we come back and do something different, tear it up, and do something with the highway. But I'll coordinate that with you, too, and you could help us prioritize where you want to start and which ones you want to do.
Sound like a winner.
Okay.
Thank you. That's it.
Mr. Jursich?
Yes, Mr. DeMarco, what did you have currently on the violation issues on non-compliant RVs? Do you have that number available to date?
I don't. I apologize for that. I know at least 25 letters went out so far. There's another 17 just off the top of my head that are being processed right now. But again, if you have some specific addresses, forward them to me and we'll get the inspector there.
Okay. I know there's some residents calling about they got their personal RV sitting next to their house and they're getting a sticker put on it.
Just for parking it in their yard? Well, then that means I'm going to get one too then.
Yes, but
Right, okay.
because they got an extension cord plugged in to keep the.
There have to be some provisions for that. As long as they could show they're not renting it, it's their own personal.
So I need, we need to look at that.
Sure.
Not waste time on those, but
Sure.
the ones that.
I'll let y'all know if I get a letter.
All right, sounds good. Mr. Witchers, yesterday we had the call about Highway 11 right north of Empire right there. So when you get the grader, maybe we can look at coming further down the road and scraping that. That's where the levee meets the road. There really is nothing there. We were able to get a water on road sign there in time, and I appreciate that. But let's look at that issue as well when you come around.
I was going to say, when you said that, was it the tree issue or the water issue? We had a little bit of both yesterday, with trees down in the streets. Yeah, they were busy yesterday.
And it actually got handled really well, really quick. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Mr. Newsom?
Yes, Mr. Juris, I had that problem in District 6 also. Spoke with the permit department about that issue. They had a resident that used it for keep mold and mildew out. I was instructed by the permit department to have the resident write a letter to the permit office explaining what he's using it for, what's the reason, and if they had some pictures they could take of it. So with that, if you get anybody in your district, that's what the permit department. So if you want to, Ms. DeMarco, get your little letter ready for yours.
I mean, it should be obvious with the inspector that if he goes out to somebody's residence and is plugged in, but there's no water or sewage running to or from it, that should be an easy fix. But I appreciate that comment.
All right. Next item, please.
Are we going to executive session?
No.
Okay.
It's an advertisement.
Bids and advertisements, there are none. 6 beer and liquor licenses. A, Sea Train Tavern, 9080 Highway 23, Belchase, LA, 70037. Mimi's Cafe, 7614 Highway 23, Belchase, Louisiana, 70037. Family Dollar, 29062 9579 Highway 23, Belchase, Louisiana, 70037. Pepper 123 9052 Highway 23, Belchase, Louisiana, 70037. Alex's Lounge 33112 Highway 11, South Empire, LA, 70050.
Offered by Mr. Kokrovich, second by Mr. Jurcic. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
7, building permits.
7B, or B is going to be deferred. We'll take C by itself.
C, Plaquemines Parish Ventures LLC, Bill Wood Smith Jr., conditional approval for 65 additional spaces totaling 74 spaces for an existing temporary RV park, 24390 and 24379 Diamond Road, Louisiana. And that's Councilmember LaFrance.
Yes, at the last meeting, I said that we was going to move on this item today, and we prepared to move on this item. So offered.
Offered by Mr. LaFrance. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Kokrovich. Any comments from the audience? State your name and address, please.
Chris Porsche, 125 CNH Park Lane. I'm the on-site manager for Plaquemines Parish Ventures. I've lived down here for 2 years now. I live amongst the people that live in our RV park, and I think these people are great for the community. I've been coming down here since I was a young boy, hunting in Venice, and I think this is great, and it's good to see a lot of people down here and supporting local community. Does anybody have any questions for me?
I think we're good.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, Ms. McCarty did have a question.
I just wanted to ask, how many sites do you have now and how many are occupied?
We're 100% occupied, and between our 2 sites near Freeman's, I think we have 105 spots.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, David Clark, 108 Avenue A in Belle Chase. Just want to remind everybody that every temporary park that went before this council has been approved. Mr. Bill Wood, I'm not speaking just on his behalf. I believe that he's done his homework. He went through the process. He was approved by zoning, and then he's coming before with a temporary. I think that we need to follow through with approving his sites. He's done his homework. He's done everything possible. And again, he can't be here because of his father. I spoke to him before the meeting. I just really think that Guy should have this opportunity. He purchased the land from a landowner that had the opportunity to sell it, and he developed the land. And parish can generate some revenue off of this, so we need to, I think, approve this site. And again, we have not denied any temporary permit for RV parks. So just keep that in mind. Thanks.
Any other comments from the audience?
Mr. Alexis?
Michael Alexis, 28004 Highway 23 South. The property that they wanted to add the additional, we had no problem with them putting the 9. I have an additional problem. You know, we own the adjacent property. My mom's 78 years old. I don't really think we need to be putting 73 more spots in place or 65 more spots in place. He has a 9 there. We don't approve of it. And, you know, I have camper spots on my property elsewhere, but I'm not going to invade my neighbors, you know, to more than what they need to be. You know, if you didn't have any additional neighbors there, fine. No one has ever actually came to us to see, you know, hey, would we mind putting it there? We have the opportunity to put as many trailers, I guess, with our property there. But on the same token, you know, because our property is actually bigger than his, you know, it's one of them things that, you know, we just don't want. You know, like you said, we don't have a problem with the 9 that's there, but any additional more, you know, we don't approve of.
Thank you. Any other comments from the audience? State your name and address, please.
Hi, good afternoon. Brian Ballet, 130 Green Trails Drive, Belchase. I represent Plaquemines Parish Ventures. As a couple of individuals have indicated, unfortunately, my client can't be here today. He'd like to be here, but he's with his father. I'm here to urge a favorable vote on this item. It's needed. Councilwoman McCarty, you asked about the need, I guess, that they are 100% occupied. There is a waiting list that they maintain of approximately 100. They get approximately 60 calls a day for people looking for housing. This is a proven developer. It's what they do. They have on-site management who lives there. There have been no issues. All of the approvals through the administration, permitting, what have you, have been met. There has been, since the ordinance, there's been, I think the numbers we were given today is 729 temporary spots approved. As Mr. Clark said, there's been no issues with those in the past. This has been deferred. While it was deferred, there were 8 approvals for parks. No opposition. The first time at all ever hearing anything to the contrary was just a moment ago. I think it's no coincidence, I believe. And so I'd appreciate a favorable vote on this item to get more people down to South Plaquemines Parish. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any question? Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, Mr. Newsom.
I don't know if you can answer this question or not, but I'm looking through this department review and I made some highlights. This comes from our engineering department. It says it needs LNO from Plaquemines Parish Levy Department. Has that been done? I don't know. What is that? I don't even know what.
Letter of no objection.
Huh?
Letter of no objection.
Okay.
I understand that has been done, but I'll confirm that.
If
That's not an issue.
I'm just looking. And another one from the fire department. Have y'all approved with installation of proposed hydrants? Are the hydrants all in place?
Again, I believe that is the case. I can confirm that.
Land have not been cleaned off yet.
I'm just going through this ahead. Okay. Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you.
All right. Any other comments from the audience? Mr. Jursich.
I had this one, Brian, if you don't mind. And I think this is a question too. So do you move forward with the hydrants before the conditional use? Before we vote on moving forward to get the conditional use permit? Is that? Yeah, so, but do they have to install hydrants prior to that? Prior to the final. So right now, if there is no approval on hydrants and stuff, it's because, that's what I just, a question, Danny, I guess that would be a question for you.
It'll be.
As I understand, you get a council approval, you get the hydrants, and then you get the occupancy certificate.
Okay, that's what I thought. That was my question. So,
Thank you.
Where we're at. They got to get this approval, then they install the hydrants, and then they get the occupancy. They can't get the occupancy until they get the required things. All right. Any comments from the administration? Administration than us. Mitch had a question for him. All right, Mr. LaFrance.
Yes. At the beginning of this meeting, they gave out the numbers that was in each district. District 7, 555. 555. The next district, District 8, 83. District 9, 91. Again, our district, 555. The problem is not with the RV parks. The problem is with the disrespect that these people come in our district, come in our community, driving 40 and 55 miles an hour on a 15-mile-an-hour speed zone. Children is trying to catch the bus. It's disrespect. That little community, Diamond, I have 5 autistic children. A couple of years ago, we had to fight the dump trucks. Now we got to fight these big pickup trucks, 3/4, 1 ton, tires yay high, and children trying to catch the bus. You say you've been down here for 2 years? I don't want to have to tell you how many years my family been here. But everybody worrying about making money. Well, what about our people who was originally from here? What about our people who live here? Do anybody care? I guess it takes for a child to get hit. Then we're going to say, I'm sorry. It ain't good enough. I'm introducing legislation today to put speed bumps in Happy Jack and in Lake Hermitage. We're going to start there. I have other people asking me to include their lane because it's disrespect. At the last meeting, Mr. Bill Wood Smith said no one was in opposition. I have 3 pages of people that signed that they don't want it in their community. That they don't want it in their community. People come here, yeah, they come from Baton Rouge, they come from all over. Yeah, they have an opportunity to make money. You think they're concerned about Plaquemine Parish? No. They're concerned about Plaquemine Parish. They're worrying about making money. At 100 spots, at $800 a month, that's $80,000 a month. $80,000 a month. But they're concerned about making money? We have the Raleigh family, we have the Alexis family, the Reddix family, the Rogers family, Colsonberry family, the Raggers family, Lightel family, the Sills family, the Ancor family, the Bartholomew family, the Phillip family. They all say no. And they've been there ever since slavery and been there ever since sharecropping. And you won't come down here and buy a plan and you want to set up whatever you want. You don't have no remorse for the community. Because it's making money. That's all about money. You don't care about people. That's not true. You don't care about people. That's not true. Yes, it is true.
Matt, we got to keep it in order. Mr. LaFrance has the floor.
I have a letter. I'd like for you to read this letter.
To whom it may concern, please.
Hold on. All right, Crystal.
To whom it may concern, please accept this letter of objection for the expansion of the River Oaks North at 24390 Diamond Road, Port Sulphur, Louisiana 70083. Our family has owned our property for over 40 years, which is located next to the RV park. Our property was purchased for peace and tranquility. We do not want the noise and crowding and possible trouble and unknown element living next to us and our grandchildren. We also raise livestock, and the added noise will cause them undue stress, which could cause them to escape the pasture and possibly endangering people on the highway. We understand progress needs to happen, but at what cost? The more trailer RV spots mean more traffic on our road, more noise to add stress to our livestock, more risk that something happens to our fencing that would allow our livestock to escape. Not to mention Lower Plaquemines Parish has become Trailer Park Central. A large portion of the lower end of the parish is being cleared for more RV trailer parks. Wildlife is being displaced. It won't be long when we are no longer known as the sportsman's paradise. We need a moratorium on allowing more trailer RV parks to be developed.
Thank you. Again, why our district? Why our district? Why we got to fight so hard? Why our community have to fight so hard Just a month ago, I was at a meeting with the people from Oakville. Why we got to fight so hard? Why do we have to fight so hard? Nobody else have to fight that hard, but we got to fight. We got to get signatures. Ain't nobody else got to go get signatures, but we got to get signatures. Why? I yield.
Mr. Edwards?
Yeah, I've been saying all along is that I'm amazed by how we have a person get a permit for 100 RV. Just like LNG, I'm excited about the money, but we changing the social and the culture lifestyle of a community. You know, we was like known for a rural community to ride down the little country road and see a little house and see some land. We becoming industrialized, and now with all these RVs coming in, people from all over, we don't know who they are, but because we're doing it for the sake of the government, it's a business for us from a business. But I want to remind us, and I will say this till I die, we in the people business. And we got to always consider the people and not just the dollar part. So I'm against have anybody with these large amounts, and I don't know when we're going to do a moratorium on how many spaces that people could have. And again, we have to put a stop somewhere on it because we changing the lifestyle, and it's easy to say when it's not in your yard. And so I can feel for people saying we don't know who these people coming in, you know. And Mr. Franz, you know, that's the lifestyle of people with the big truck. That's what they do, where they come from. So they expect in the country you can do anything you want here, you know. And we'll permit. So at some point we gotta stop looking at it from strictly economic and look at the social and culture life where people live in Plaquemine, what they used to doing. And we're changing. The more we do that, we're changing it. We're changing the social and cultural lifestyle, and I don't think we should give that up to anybody. Thank you.
Hold on. I don't know if you had a question or not. Ronnie, you good?
Oh, no, yeah, I just had enough items.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Any other comments?
No, I'm good.
Machines are open. And it fails 3 yeas from districts 2, 3, and 6, 4 nays from district 1, 4, 5, 7, and 2 abstentions from districts 8 and 9. Hold on, keep that up, please. I need to write all this down for my records.
3, 4, 2.
2, 3, 6. 1, 4, 5, 7, and 2 and 9. Thank you. All right. Yes. Okay. What's K? For what? Can we finish the D, E, and F and Globo, and then that's where we're going to go? Yeah. I got a couple that we're moving around. Go ahead. We're going to do D, E, and F in Globo.
Marion and Glenda Stevens, RV Camper and FP Zoning District 276, West Bayou Lane, Lake Hermitage, Port Sulphur, Louisiana. Harvey Properties, Todd Harvey RV Park Renewal, 193 Sooner Lane, Venice, Louisiana. Campagna Properties, Jason Campagna Fireworks Stand Renewal, 2024-7836A, Highway 23, Belchase, Louisiana.
Do I have an offer? Offer by Mr. Konovich. Second by Mr. Jursich. Any comments from the audience? From administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next item, go ahead and do the introductions, then we're going to move.
8, Introduction of Ordinances and Resolutions.
The following are, on behalf of Councilmember Schultz, an ordinance to amend the 2024 operating revenue budget and the 5-year capital improvements plan, renovations, EOC, and 911 call center project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance temporarily suspending the issuance of any permits for recreational vehicle parks and sites relative to ordinance number 2264, ordinance number 96108, and permitted uses under agricultural and floodplain zoning districts, providing for exceptions thereto, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution authorizing Plaquemines Parish government to enter into an agreement with DOTD to construct a roundabout at the intersection of Woodland Highway and F. Edward A. Bear Boulevard / Keating Drive in Belchase, Louisiana, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2024 operating revenue and expenditure budgets to accept a donation from Infomark LLC for Plaquemines Parish Day at the Louisiana Legislature and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2024 General Fund Operating Expenditure Budget, Economic Development Tourism Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2024 General Fund Revenue and Operating Expenditure Budgets and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution approving and authorizing Rochelle Morel, Comptroller, to execute a Louisiana compliance questionnaire to Colder Slavin and Company, LLC, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The next two are on behalf of Councilmember Konovich, an ordinance to prohibit through traffic on West Gulf Drive, Orangewood Drive, and Bouzon Lane, Buras, Louisiana, for motor vehicles that exceed a gross weight of 5,000 pounds, and to create a no-truck route through residential area zone on the above-listed streets, to establish a penalty for the violation thereof, to authorize the parish president to have the appropriate roadway signs installed, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvement plan, repairs Coast Guard Road project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And the final one is for Councilmember LaFrance, an ordinance authorizing and directing the parish president or his designee to install speed bumps on Lake Hermitage Road and Martin Lane, Happy Jack Lane, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And that's it.
All right, at this time, we'll go to 9K.
A resolution confirming the recommendation of Parish President W. Keith Hinckley for the appointment of Ashley Morrison as the Director of Arts, Parks, and Recreation pursuant to Article 5, Section 501 of the Charter for Local Self-Government for the Parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer, ask for a second. Second by Mr. Newsom. Y'all want to do the introduction, and then we'll open up for comments.
You want to invite her up?
We got Mr. Newsom. All right, Miss Ashley, Morrison, if you want to come up and just introduce yourself and a little bit background and.
My name is Ashley Nicole Morrison, and my address is 102 Ball Cypress Drive, Belchase, Louisiana, 70037. As the resolution said, I have been appointed or been put up for appointment for the Director of Arts, Parks, and Recreation. I am thrilled to be given this honor and this recommendation. I would like to first thank you all council members, President Hinckley, for just the opportunity. My background is I am a almost 8-year Director in Parks and Recreation for the City of New Orleans. I worked over there. I am a member of Louisiana Parks and Recreation Agency, as well as the National Parks and Recreation Agency. I have been working with Parks and Recreation in development from the capital projects standpoint, staff management, Parks and Recreation development, program development. I have an extensive background and a love for Parks and Recreation. So I am thrilled just to be here and to bring all of my expertise to the parish, to work with the community, first and foremost, and with the people of Plaquemines Parish, to really take President Hinckley and Council's vision for Parks and Recreation and make it what our community deserves. So that's a little bit about myself. Does anyone have any questions?
Oh, got questions for Mr. Newsom.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Morrison?
Yes.
Thank you for coming. I read your resume, very extensive, very impressive. My background we call it a long time ago. I was involved in recreation back in Plaquemines Parish as a volunteer coach and stuff like that, and it was in a heyday. And also when you thanked everybody, appreciate that. Also thank the residents of Plaquemines Parish, because those are the ones that approved this charter change. So again, thank you to the residents of Plaquemines Parish who approved this. Big shoes to fill, big job to do. I know you can handle it, and we look forward to working with you and bringing Plaquemines recreation back into the heyday it once was at one time. Thank you, and I yield.
Mr. Jursich?
Yes, I too glanced at your resume. I didn't look at it in full because it was so tremendous, but really glad to have you on board and welcome to Plaquemines Parish. And let's hope we can get everything lined up and on the right track. And we look forward to working with you, and we're happy to have you. And thank you as well.
Thank you.
Reverend Edwards?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to look at your resume at all, but I heard you talk about New Orleans Recreation Department that I'm very familiar. I remember Miss Aaron was there, Dr. Morris Jeff, so I know the work that NORD has done in the city of New Orleans, tremendous type of program that they have offered the community. And this kind of program we need in Plaquemines Parish. So I look forward to maybe setting a meet to share some ideas that we have that I didn't share with the administration, but share with you as you begin to develop your plan. So I'm excited that you're bringing that NORD experience, because that's a lot of experience. So I want to be the first to say welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. LaFrance?
Yes. Tell us why would you change a venue coming from New Orleans and coming to Plaquemines Parish? What is your reasoning?
So my family moved from Orleans Parish to Plaquemines Parish. We moved because we have two small children, and like you all have said today, we are looking for a community, a family community, a place where our children could go out and play and where we would feel safe with them doing that. And not to say we didn't feel like that in Orleans Parish, but the parish is so big, and it is growing fast. And I feel like at some standpoints, community has been kind of left behind. The city is growing so much, and we're my husband loves to look outside and see trees, and horses. So that was a plus for us. So that's why we moved over. And honestly, I did not have plans of leaving NORD's recreation department. But on the day that I applied, or the day that we moved, I was just looking at the parish and where we were going to see parks that were near our home, and I noticed that the position was open. And I said, wow, that's the coincidence that there's a position right in my backyard that is doing what I'm doing now and what I truly love. And so I just took a shot and kind of applied and went on back to work. And then maybe a few weeks after the position closed, I received a phone call. I kind of forgot that I had applied. And I was honored. I was thrilled about the opportunity, but I was also sad that I was going to be leaving behind the city of New Orleans and all the work that I have been involved with laying out, really helping that agency receive its national accreditation. So Orleans Parish is only one of two in the state that have national accreditation, which means that you can go anywhere in the country. Orleans Parish and East Baton Rouge Parish have a system that other agencies or other parks and recreation agencies have. So you can find it's a standardized process. And I was the lead on that for NORD, for the city of New Orleans. So I know a lot about what it takes to really develop a parks and recreation plan. And I said, hey, if they need it, I want to go. I'm living there. It's my neighbors. It's my community. I want to go. So that's how I heard about the position. That's how we moved over to Plaquemines Parish, and that's why I'm so excited about everything that's going on here in the community, and just being able to be of assistance and be able to be a help as one of the leaders that will sit at the table. It's all about our residents and our people, and so I'm excited to be here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And not to mention, at my agency, we don't have criers, but On my last day, half of the building was crying. And I told them I did not want to have anything to, no kind of like going away parties or anything, because I know what the investment means and just what it means for me to be leaving. And I didn't want to cry. And they were like, oh, we're going to have something so you won't cry. And I didn't cry, but I looked around and half the room was crying and I couldn't help myself. So, it's bittersweet, but everyone's happy. I've had people call and saying, you have roles, how can I help you? So I'm really just looking forward to being here. So thank you all again. Thanks to the residents and the community for allowing me this opportunity.
Dr. Gui?
When the proposals were being discussed about charter change, and we went through that exercise and realized that the potential was so great residents, great programs that we have, but to coordinate everything to get the maximum benefit out of it. And when the referendum was put before the people, the public also agreed with that. One of the areas that I see that, not for any reason, I think it's a cultural thing. When I was in high school, if you had a pulse, you were on a team. You either played baseball, basketball, or you played them all. But where I think we unintentionally neglected were those kids who have other super talents. And there was no public program for them to express those talents. And I'm speaking of music, and we had music in schools, we had drama club in schools and that, but we had nothing with government related to help with those kids who are artists that think with that side of their brain. And my prayer is that you bring that to us. You bring us ideas and thoughts and proposals to where we can expand our recreation program to include those other than the jocks. And I know a lot of guys at the table know what I'm talking about, because the reason they played ball in school, because they had a pulse. That was the mentality back then.
Yes.
So I welcome you aboard, and I hope you get the votes.
Yes, I hope so as well. I hope I do as well. Thank you. And yes, I have a pulse too, and I played basketball and realized very quickly that I needed something else to do. So I definitely know about those other projects and recreation programs that are needed for those who are not athletes or who don't have those strong suits in that level. So I know what's needed, especially for myself. I can think of what I would have wanted as a child. So yes, thank you. Hope I get the votes, and thank you all for your time.
Ms. McCarty?
Hi, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
I was pleased to read your resume. I was also impressed by your background. Before you leave today, I hope that you'll list maybe 2 of your most proud accomplishments for the people who don't know what we're talking about, haven't seen your background. And at some point, I hope that you'll share with the council members and maybe even the public what you plan to do for us. And I'm sure we're going to see great things from you. So before you leave us, since I'm the last one in the queue, just tell us.
Don't talk.
Okay, well, after Chris speaks, just tell us maybe 2 things that you've done that you would like to share with us. Thank you.
Again, welcome aboard. Keith, thank you for posting this. I've read your resume, and that's why I was hoping to get somebody with your background and everything. As a parent of 2 small kids, one in recreation, one I'm sure will be in it as well, that was one of the big things that I heard throughout my district when I campaigned that we need to improve as a coach in almost every sport, what I saw also. So we'll probably be in touch a lot. But again, very impressive. I thank you. Again, back to what Dr. Gui said, example is my kid right now is not playing baseball. He wanted a year off, but he's doing a coding class in Jefferson Parish recreation. So that's what we hope to bring here. Stuff outside the normal recreation stuff that is beneficial to the kids. So, again, welcome aboard. Very impressive.
Thank you.
Any comments from the audience? We still got to open it up.
Please don't speak for for a second.
Oh, she spoke. Do you want to add anything else or after, or?
Do you want me to present the two things,
Yeah.
the two accomplishments? Sure. So of course, the first one is going to be achieving national accreditation for the city of New Orleans. That is an undertaking that took us about 3 years to do. It is not a small feat. There are multiple standards, processes, and procedures, from FMLA, standpoints to, ADA requirements, program requirements, facility requirements, staffing, simple things as how your offices are set up for Parks and Recreation staff. And so we went through that process heavily. I led that charge and worked with several people on the national level out in Washington, D.C. to get the city of New Orleans accredited. We were accredited once, and then we went through reaccreditation. So I was involved in both of those processes and doing it pretty much on my own, and then along with my staff was a huge undertaking. We didn't know if we would do it. But I kind of closed my door and told my team, I said, listen, it's me and my marketing director. We're going to get this thing done, and we're going to be reaccredited. We will not lose this, and we will continue to provide the community with the best when it comes to Parks and Recreation. And we did that. So I am very pleased about that accomplishment. Another accomplishment is starting a special needs program in the city of New Orleans. Special needs programming is a demographic that is often left behind when we talk about Parks and Recreation. But our children who have special needs still need the opportunity to engage and to participate in recreational activities. So we started a program over in New Orleans for our special needs population, including some baseball, some basketball games. We partnered with some local colleges to do some programming for wheelchair basketball, and we also had a special needs Mardi Gras ball. Mardi Gras is a Louisiana favorite, and we created a Mardi Gras ball for our special needs teens that is absolutely unbelievable. It is such a wonderful experience for everyone. Our council would escort the teens or the young people in the ball, and they would have a council member escorting them to their seat, and they would dance with them and eat with them, and they had a wonderful time. So it was an absolutely beautiful program that we started up over there, and I'm very proud of that because the families really appreciate it, and the youth and the teens really appreciate it. So that's two of my most cherished accomplishments during my time here in Parks and Recreation.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any comments from the audience? Mr. Clark?
David Clark, 108 Avenue A in Belle Chase. Not only will she be a great asset to the parish, just having the family move into Plaquemines Parish is an asset to us. About 6 years ago, when I opened up in Algiers, my restaurant, her husband walked it through the door, and we sat and talked for hours. And since then, we became really close friends. And I was excited to see you guys move into the parish, and I think bringing her on as the director, of recreation is definitely an asset for us. So,
Thank you.
glad to have you.
Any other, Mr. Henry?
Yes. Mr. Hinckley, I think you did a great job on this. I criticized you a couple months ago. Hey, I'm real. I'm going to be real. I criticized you a couple months ago, but I think, man, you did a great job on this one. I just hope we can finance some of the programs we're going to need for this young lady to really progress this recreation program to the highest it can be. And Ms. Morrison, I'm a long-time resident of Plaquemines Parish. And look, I live right in Belle Chase. If you ever need me, you got me.
Any other comments from the audience? Mr. Hinckley, you want to add anything, or are you good?
The only thing I could say, if I was to shed a tear, it would be a tear of joy, because just sitting here and listening to Ashley and Miss Morrison's, just her resume and her accomplishments, I'm sitting here thinking, I can't say exactly what I'm thinking, but holy, and she's coming to work with us. I'm very excited, and I think she's really going to take our recreation, arts, parks, and recreation and really put us on the map here. So, look, I really look forward to working with her, and I sounds like we have a favorable move forward here. So this is another one of those things. We're powering Plaquemines forward. So thank you.
Thank you. You need to add something?
Thank you for Henry to give you that compliment. I've been waiting on that kind of compliment for a long time. Man, you're ranking big time today. That's all I want to say.
Hopefully we have that same energy in about, 30 days at the next meeting. But, oh, great. Thank you. Yes, but thank you all so much.
All right, with that, machines are open. Passes 9-0. Welcome aboard, Ms. Morrison. At this time, we'll go to N.
An ordinance approving a perpetual servitude of use over PPG property adjacent to the school bus barn on F. Edward Hebert Boulevard and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I'll offer, ask for a second. Second by Mr. Champagne. Hold on. All right. This is basically, I'm going to give an overview just for the public. This is the school. Actually, Mr. Teshvich, I know you've been waiting, so go ahead.
Oh, you got it, man. You got it. I'm here, of course, Nico Tesvich, representing District 3 on the Plaquemines Parish School Board. It's a privilege to speak to you all today. Always good to associate with our fellow council members in the spirit of partnership as our governmental entities work with each other here in Plaquemines Parish. Because, look, let me just tell you, it's a great day. I know y'all hear a lot of problems, y'all hear a lot of negatives, but there's so many wonderful things on the horizon for our parish. We just heard about our new Director of Arts, Parks, and Recreation. I'm about to talk about a little project we got going on, and it is a very minor project. But I mean, we have, the crawfish boil going this weekend, and then the seafood fest and the Croatian fest. And then we got graduations for all of our wonderful young people who are moving on from our school system. It's just a fantastic day in Plaquemines, and I can't say enough about what y'all are doing to move us forward. Administration, y'all moving us forward, and us at the school board moving y'all forward. Our new superintendent, Dr. Shelley Ritz, is also here in the audience with me. She made a beeline from Boothville so she could get here before this was introduced, and I appreciate Dr. Ritz for being here as well. The project that we're proposing to you folks was passed by our board, or passed with the intent to come to y'all about this project back on January 23rd. It is a project where we seek to pave the bus barn, or the North Transportation Building that's at 506 F. Edward Hebert, pave the parking lot, excuse me. It's a rock road, it's a rock parking lot, it's dusty, it's dirty, cars get messed up, it's holes, we gotta fix it, and it just needs to be addressed. And when we were looking into it, we found out that our property line stops in the middle of the parking lot. It doesn't go all the way to the street. So I'm here before you, and I don't want to bury the lead here, but I'm here before you to say that we want to get a servitude on that property that extends from the side of the property line all the way to the road. And what we'll do is we will procure bids in order to pave that area. And don't forget, this is something for parish use too, because recreation department, whenever stuff's going on over there, you got parents that park over there in that parking lot. So it's not just for us folks here at the school board, it is a positive thing for the government as well. But what I wanted to say is that we do want to move forward with this as soon as possible. The reason we have to make sure that we get your approval on this is because this has the potential to be the last FEMA project on our books. And we hope it is the last FEMA project ever on the books. We're hoping to have FEMA fund this completely. So it's something that doesn't come out of our pocket, doesn't come out of your pocket. It's a win-win-win for everybody here. And we ask for all of you to vote favorably on this. Of course, I could speak on this for a little while longer, but for the sake of time, I won't. If you have any questions, here I stand.
Thank you, Mr. Tesvich. Mr. Tesvich approached myself, Mr. Newsom. I think, Mr. Champagne, you were there about it. And it's not like the parish is using that servitude for anything. So, like you said, it's a win-win. I park there all the time for soccer and football, even baseball when we're at those fields right next to it. So it's a win-win with the dust and everything in the morning. Drop off my kids. So I'm all on board, Mr. Newsom.
Thank you, Mr. Yeah. Stefovich, wonderful. Well said. You know, we work together, and you're 100% correct about parents parking there. I see it all the time. They park this way, that way. Maybe, you know, yeah, when you get it, it'll benefit us too. I know kind of off base here. Give me a minute there. Mr. Chairman, you spoke about graduation. And this year, I know Thursday in May, you had the South Platte graduation, which in the future, I don't know if it's school board decision, Dr. Rich's decision on what days. We always have our second, fourth Thursday of the month, which coincides with graduation in Point LaHash. So in the future, if you could have
Point of order, Mr. President.
I asked for a little leeway, Mr. Chairman. I asked for a little leeway. I asked for some leeway. It's talking about partnership working together. In future, maybe we could, the second, have the Phoenix High School graduation. So when we leave the council meeting, we could be there. Thank you.
Mr. Jursich.
While you're in the road paving business, let's talk after this meeting, okay? Because we got quite a few problems in the parish. That's all I want to tell you. Thank you for getting in the road paving business.
Mr. Champagne.
Yeah, I would just like to add to what Mr. Tesovich said. The spirit of cooperation is unparalleled. It's been a pleasure working with Mr. Tesovich on this project. We worked together on the ITEP. And again, the spirit of cooperation between both the school board and PPG is what makes this parish unique. And I hope we can continue doing this and going to bigger and better things. Thank you so much. I yield.
All right, any comments from the audience? From the administration? Mrs. Tesovich, thank you for coming. I guess machines are open. Passes 9-0. All right, Habo, you want to move or you want to go on the? Hold on. Come here. We move back, 9A2.
An ordinance to amend and amended to readopt Section 4 of Ordinance Number 142, the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance of Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as amended, and the Comprehensive Zoning District Map therein adopted by reference, and which is paraph thereto with reference to application number 2024-554 dated December 14th, 2023, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Jurisic.
Offer by Mr. Jursich, second by Mr. Edwards. Go ahead. Or Keehan. Mr. Jursich.
Yes, this was brought before the zoning board, and if, the zoning board unanimously voted against this rezoning, I just wanted to pass that on to know that the zoning board did deny this company, this group to rezone this, so just letting y'all know before the vote.
All right, any comments from the audience?
Hi, my name's Devin.
Sorry.
Devin Lowell, 6329 Ferret Street, New Orleans. I'm a supervising attorney with the Tulane Environmental Law Clinic here representing Oakville Community Action and Florence Green Anderson, and supervising attorney for my student Mia Dalton, who's going to speak next, I think. And I just wanted to speak to say that, I think that at the development board meeting, that room was full of people in opposition to this application. And, I think today, this meeting, I know this is when y'all's meetings are scheduled, but I think this meeting being during the workday has hindered a little bit of that today. You know, a lot of folks in that neighborhood do work during the day. So I just want to note for everybody that room, the development board meeting on March 5th was full of people, and the development board, like Mr. Jursich said, did vote 9-0 to recommend disapproval of this application. So I just wanted to note that for y'all. Thanks. What's that? Sorry, I'm a supervising attorney with the Tulane Environmental Law Clinic. Yeah.
Okay. Hello, I'm Mia Dalton. I'm a student attorney with the Tulane Environmental Law Clinic. We're located at 6329 Ferret Street, New Orleans, Louisiana 70118. I am here on behalf of Florence Green Anderson, a resident of the community of Oakville. We are concerned that changing the zoning of this property will deny the residents of Oakville the protections of which they are entitled to, those of public health, safety, comfort, convenience, and general welfare, as stated in the ordinance that governs this parish. We are here to ask that the council deny this zoning change for 3 reasons. First, the proposed development creates traffic and safety concerns for the residents. Second, the proposal has unclear environmental impacts. And third, the proposal will incentivize further development around this residential community. First, the location of this tourist court raises questions about safety and general welfare for the residents. The Development Board unanimously recommended the denial of this proposal after hearing numerous comments from community members about the historic aspect of this community, as well as their fight against one nuisance neighbor and the IP waste management landfill, and now must deal with more development that they do not want. This proposal includes housing for I think 80 to 100 people, and it has parking for over 50 vehicles. This will increase traffic on the narrow streets of West St. Peter and Oakville Streets, both residential. It raises questions and concerns about the safety of the children and the adjoining ballpark to this property, as well as questions about the infrastructure that will be required to support this facility. In the unfortunate event of an evacuation or a fire, as you will have to access this property via residential streets. Second, there are unclear environmental effects from this project. This development's further from the high ground of the levee as it's behind this residential area, and it is a runoff area for the floodwater in the community. It raises concerns not only for the residents and their safety if there was a flood, but also for the people who would be living out on that property. So we don't believe that it's a smart development decision to put this property where it's being requested. Third, and finally, we believe that this raises concerns about future development in the area. If this is intended only as a temporary tourist court, which was kind of what was expressed at the last meeting, is that it was a temporary housing for the LNG workers, that later this property could be used for many commercial purposes that are listed under the C2 zoning. So we're concerned that there may be future development which would further cause some of these impacts that we've already discussed about and make them more severe. We also ask if there are alternatives to this location, that the applicant did not consider alternative locations to this facility. And so it's for those reasons we ask that the parish council deny this zoning request.
Thank you. Any other comments from the audience?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alan Green. I live at 198 West St. Peter Street, Belchester, Louisiana. My community is Oakville, and we're here because of the zoning change. We heard about it in February the 16th, and by March the 5th, we had to meet the zoning board. So we had to do everything in a rush. We had to get lawyers that represented us from Tulane Environmental Law Clinic. So I'm pleased with them, and I'm pleased that Oakville had came out to Port Sulphur, and we had a lot of members from the residents there. So we want to thank the Oakville residents. We want to thank Mr. LaFrance, the Councilman LaFrance. We had Turner there, Reverend Turner, and I was wondering who was the man was taking the pictures all the time. Then Rose Jackson told me, "That's Reverend Edwards. You don't know him?" I said, "No, but I got to get to know him." So if y'all need any help on anything, we're available for you. Now, as far as the opposition, we're fighting against that. Oakville was a community that was planted in 1869 by Leon Rene Sarpy. And what's so good about that, my grandmother is Celestine Sarpy. So she married Horace Johnson. That's why you see Bishop Johnson and I, we related and we get along well on issues. So we are fighting for this and we're looking for justice. We're hoping that council members go with the zoning board decision. And we thank y'all very much. Amen.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Melanie Bradley, 115 East Oakville Street. First of all, I want to say thank you for your service. I want to state why Mr. Fleming should not get this rezoning request. First of all, Oakville has made history. It is a historical community in Plaquemine Parish. We all should be proud of that. This is not just our history, our Oakville history, it's Plaquemine Parish history. Oakville needs restoration, not deterioration and destruction. Oakville has been dump on, dump in, dump out, dump on, dump in, dump behind. Now Mr. Fleming wants to put dump in our front porch, on our front porch. We look like a slum village in Oakville. It is not enough that we have Mount Everest dump as our scenic view. Now we're seeing trash and dump in our front, back, side, and neighbor's yard. We are not used to this type of living. It appears that we are being treated as invisible people with no respect or consideration for our kids and citizens. Our lives, kids, and property value matters to us too. Mr. Fleming's friend, the chairman of the zoning board, said at the last meeting that Mr. Fleming is a Christian man. He would not do anything to hurt Oakville, and he will do background checks on his tenants. Well, let's look at what Mr. Fleming is already doing in Oakville and how much of his business acumen is to protect the integrity, respect, and dignity of Oakville and its legacy. Mr. Simmons wants to make a temporary inconvenience we have into a permanent problem for our community. He already has tenants leasing to own on West St. Peter Street in Oakville. His tenants do not respect the people, the community, others' property, or the legacy of our community. He has allowed his tenants to bring condemned trailers in our community. Okay? Condemned vehicles, barrels all over the place. In fact, one of the trailers underneath a tree, an oak tree, which they plan to cut down. Now there are some tenants. Okay, there's some over there too. So I don't have enough, but y'all see some of that. Not only that, those same tenants that he has on his property are also renting on East Oakville Street, directly across from where I live. They rented the property for a trailer, and now it has become a small villa. There's two trailers connected to each other, a house in the middle, another building in the back, and barrels all over the place. There's a commercial business that they got going on, which is a barrel business. So they have a 1-ton, 2-ton truck in the community. strange people and cars are coming in and out of Oakville trying to get those supplies, trying to get those barrels. Excuse me. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. Let me finish. Besides allowing these people to, his tenants to bring junk in our community, he has been assisting them in building on these abandoned trailers. When he should really be trying to get them to take those condemned trailers out of our community. Those same tenants that he rented to, when our oldest and most iconic leader was assaulted by one of his tenants, calling her the M, F word, and a B, and then took her to court saying that she was harassing them because she didn't want those abandoned and condemned trailers in front of her manicure home property and lowering our property value. What he has done already is lower our property value knowingly, because he knows these people brought condemned trailers in our community. He knows they don't have permits to work on them. He knows that they shouldn't be in there, but he's still allowing them. An oak tree, putting a trailer underneath an oak tree and cutting an oak tree down? Who the hell does that? Excuse my French.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am.
Okay, all right. I'm getting to my end. We're concerned about our kids.
Yes, ma'am.
In our community. And we don't want, this is his acumen of business in Oakville with just a few tenants, what he's going to do with 150.
Yes, ma'am.
We asking the parish to help us to rebuild, restore Oakville. Do whatever you can, the zoning and building councilman to come in there and see what's all these building and infractions has been done to our community and help us get back together to a respectable community. We cannot put that sign on our community saying that we are a historical community when we look like a dump. And to continue on allowing him to continue on putting that type of infraction in our community is a no-no. So I'm asking you all to say no to the no and the no to that no too, and we appreciate your time and listening.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I would like to pass it. We know where we're at with this, pretty sure. And if y'all want to continue to speak, you can, but Ms. Rose, you very well versed me on this other issue, and it's something we're going to look into closely, and me and Ronnie Newsom, me and Commissioner Newsom, would like to set up a meeting with y'all on that, because we got to see if they're even allowed to run what they're running out of there. And as far as it goes, from what I heard, Mr. Fleming was ready to withdraw this anyway. So if y'all want to continue to speak, you can, but I think, we're ready to move on the vote. And I think, it's okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Rose Jackson. I'm the Vice President of the Oakville Community Action Group. And the issue that I want to speak on with Mr. Fleming is the fact that where Mr. Fleming wants to rezone that property, there's a cemetery there. Where Mr. Fleming's have trailers on Highway 23, on that piece of property that he owns, there's a cemetery there. Now, I want to know, I'm going to ask you, council members, this question. How many of you want your dead ancestors dug up? I know I don't. I found a cemetery with a reporter from Washington, D.C., from the Washington Post, back in 1997. There's a cemetery there. Army Corps of Engineers would not go nowhere near that cemetery when they put that levee there. There's a cemetery on that property. Mr. Alan Green and I found the headstones. I stood on top of one of the graves so that the reporter could take pictures and posted in the Washington Post, plus the cemetery that's in Oakville. We done had enough of our ancestors dug up in this parish and cemeteries destroyed. Wood Park, Deer Range, Lake Harmony, Woodland. We don't need that. That's a bad eyesore. And it show bad reflection on Plaquemines Parish that you stoop to the level that you dig up dead ancestors because you need that property. We don't need any property that bad that we're going to dig up dead ancestors. And I hope and pray that you all really think hard on this. And any more property that comes up, make sure that that property is inspected. Make sure that you have the right details about that property. And we not going to dig up dead ancestors. I will be on your backs, and I will see, and I will follow to make sure that it don't happen anymore in Plaquemines Parish. Enough is enough. And I know for a fact that that cemetery is there. Thank you.
Thank you. You want to call the question?
Bishop Wilford Justice. I won't take long. I just need a moment. There are 3 churches in the Oakville community, and I've been pastoring one for 42 years. The Oakville Missionary Baptist Church, 1872. When the name was given, it was given for a church, a schoolhouse, and a cemetery. And I'm pastoring a church. I was in that one-room schoolhouse, and I buried a lot of people in that cemetery. We were concerned about what was going to happen to the Oakville community, but we understand now, and we feel that the Lord has heard our prayers and our concern. We had people with 315 signatures, and the hall was filled in Port Sulphur, and we understand we before a wonderful council. Thank you, Brother President and Council Chairman, also members of the council, for hearing our concern for the Oakville community. We don't want it to change. We are concerned about our community. It's a cultural place. It's very important to us. Many things have changed, but there's something we want to retain and remain the same. The mere fact that that entity of coming into the parish would change our culture, change everything about it. We are not agreeing to that. There are 2 streets in Oakville, Oakville Street and St. Peter, namely Oakville Missionary Baptist Church, Oakville Street, and St. Peter Baptist Church, St. Peter Street. It's a religious community organized in 1869, and 3 years later, they needed churches. That's when the Oakville Missionary Baptist Church was organized. We are concerned about the quality of life, spiritually as well as culturally. The cemetery, as Sister Rose spoke about, is a place where I've buried many people. And I buried my father, my mother, aunt, many of the people who are part of that community. I shared in Port Sulphur that when I committed them to the soil, we said, rest in peace. We don't want to say now, shake for the music of the world. We want the people to be in peace. The cemetery has some very important people entombed there. The Williams family and the Bradley family. In the 1950-53 war with Korea, they gave the ultimate concerns to this country, lost their lives. They were buried there. We have heroes in that community. The Bradley family. My father's interred there. We must maintain the integrity of that community. Not only those that are dead, but those that are living. So that community can be what it has to be, what it has been, and what it will be. You have the power to make sure that that happens. I know you will do it because the zoning board has voted that we need to deny that petition, and I'm sure you will do it also. Our community needs to survive, not just ours, but Mr. LaFrancis' community also. We're fighting against entities that do want to look at money instead of people, but we know that you will look at it that way. People are very much concerned. God did not die for money. He gave his life for people. He loved people that much. I'm sure you will also. A lot of things we have to do in this parish. I'm sure you will do it. The young lady who came forward and said that she has this position now, Sister Morrison, I'm so glad to meet you. So glad to hear what you're saying. Our parish is culturally deprived. It's the only parish you don't have a theater. You don't have a performing arts center. You don't have a musical place where people can express themselves. We need that in our parish. We need a theater. We need a place where music can be sung. I did things in Southern University in the acting department, but there's not a place, there's a curtain where people can do things. I'm sure as far as arts is concerned, you're going to consider doing that. But do look after Oakville and make sure that O in Oakville is very, very, very important to all of us. Thank you very kindly.
Thank you. You want to call the question? All right. Well, somebody has to make a motion.
Yeah, I call for the question.
Mr. Edwards, call for a question. Machines are open. Oh, wait. Hold on.
We're asking for a no vote here.
What? Yay, yes is to approve the rezoning, no is to deny the rezoning. And it fails 9-0. Wait. All right. We're good to go back on the agenda? Everybody's good? What? You ready to move? Go. Okay. At this point, we're going to 9Q. And then we'll get back on the agenda. 9Q.
An ordinance to name the Belle Chase Government Complex Pavilion the Amos Cormier Jr. Pavilion and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Kotnovich.
Offered by Mrs. Kognovich. Any objections to unanimous second? Seeing none, unanimous second. Hold on. I'm trying to get my paperwork ordered. All right. Any comments? You want to make any comments, Mrs. Kognovich, before open up to? Oop. All right. Mrs. Kognovich.
Yes, I've known this man most of my life. Never did get to him coaching me, but I coached with him for 20 years. And he gave his heart and soul to this parish, and his families, you know, they donated their time to this parish, and I think he gave his life for this parish. So with that, I'll ask for the Cormier family to come forward.
All right. We still got to do comments. Any comments from the audience on this? Administration? Mr. Jurisich?
Yes, I did have the pleasure to play for him because I went to the right school at the time. But he was one heck of a coach, and he's one heck of a mentor. He not only coached us well, he taught us well. When the baseball team, which I tried to play baseball for him, but the pitcher we had at that time just threw the ball 200 miles an hour, and he wanted me to be a catcher, and that wasn't going to happen. So with that being said, though, the baseball team used to have to wear a suit everywhere they went. I mean, I thought that was admirable of what he did. He really taught us well. He was a great teacher, great coach. We enjoyed playing for him. And when we made a mistake, he let us know, but it was a subtle let us know. It wasn't, you got chewed out. You just got told, I told you so. So he was very well at what he did. I'm honored that we're going to do this. Thank you, Councilmember Kotnovich, for bringing this up.
Reverend Edwards?
Yeah, I never got a chance to play any kind of sports with him, but I heard by the record. But as a parish president, one of the things I love about him, he respects the community. He would go all the way. If he said he was coming to your meeting, he was coming to your meeting. He felt bad when he didn't make a meeting. I remember he told me he's coming here and speak at the convention center. And he came, his car broke down, he caught a flat tire, he still showed up. And that's the kind of person he is as parish president. If he say he would go to any meeting, I said, Mr. Cormier, you can't make every meeting. But he was a parish president, and there was a community meeting, okay, how many people that he made it his business to be there. So I really respect that about him, and I had a great relationship with him. I was confused for a minute. I said, wait a minute, I know they ain't talking about him. He said, no, he's the third. I said, okay, that's why I make sure we are in the right Cormier. I'm just kidding. Thank you.
Any other comments? All right. I guess we'll vote and then take a picture. Or anybody wants to make a comment from the family? Nope. Or
We just want to thank everybody. My dad, served, and it was truly a pleasure for him, and he loved this parish, and we just appreciate, this very much.
Any other comments? Ms. LaFrance?
Yes. I want to thank y'all on the behalf of lending your husband, your dad, to us. Also, for our school system. There was many battles between Post Alpha and Barris, and
DHA too, don't leave
Well,
us. Because we beat y'all in baseball.
but anyway, he was a great man, truly a great educator, and a true friend. Thank y'all.
Ms. McCarty?
I know my father knew Mr. Cormier well, and he always spoke well of your husband and father as being an honest man, an honorable man, a man of his word. And when my father says that, to me, that means a lot. So that means that your father was a great man and your husband was a great man. So thank you.
Ms. Skognovich?
Like Mitch was saying, you know, when I coached with him, and Burris had the undefeated teams 2 years in a row, and I kept telling him, let's put our foot on their back. Let's run the score. He said, well, you got to remember, we might not be like this next year. And, you know, he treated the other teams with respect, just like he treated everybody. And I appreciated everything he did. Thank y'all.
Any other comments? Machines are open. Passes 9-0. Did you want to get a picture? All right, let's do a quick picture. That's why I probably didn't know that. No, nobody actually did.
Everybody took a break.
Well, everybody's been, what? No, I said, I'm going, once I see one or two people coming back, we're going to, because by the time you read the next. All right, back to the agenda, 9A1.
All right. An ordinance to declare lots A1 RC Kent Senior Divisions and Lot V1 Vidrine Division located at 8056 Highway 23, Belchase, Louisiana, and lots V2 and V3 Vidrine Division surplus property, and authorize the parish president to do all things necessary and proper according to law to sell the aforementioned properties to the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Champagne.
And we have changes.
Go ahead with the changes, please.
There's been a fourth whereas that has been added that reads as follows. Whereas Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District obtained an appraisal through Stegall, Benton, Melisant and Associates dated December 18, 2023, for both properties, and the fair market value of each was determined to be the following. For lots A1C, RC Kent Senior Divisions, and Lot V1, Vidrine Division, located at 8056 Highway 23, Belchase, Louisiana, Popich Building and Property, the fair market value was determined to be $1,800,000. For lots V2 and V3 Verdine Division, currently parking lots adjacent to the Popich Building, the fair market value was determined to be $75,000. The combined fair market value of both properties was determined to be $1,875,000 from the appraisal obtained by the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District. Whereas, based on standard policy, a second appraisal was sought by the port through Bird and Associates, dated February 28, 2024, for both the building and the adjacent lots, and fair market value of each was determined to be the following. For lots A1 RC Kent Senior Divisions and Lot V1 Vidrine Division, located at 8056 Highway 23, Belchase, Louisiana, Popich Building and Property, the fair market value was determined to be $1,875,000. For lots V2 and V3 Vidrine Division, currently parking lots adjacent to the Popich Building, the fair market value was determined to be $90,000. The combined fair market value of both properties was determined to be $1,965,000 from the appraisal obtained by Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District. Whereas the parish and port have mutually agreed to base the purchase price on the Popich Building and adjacent lots on the average of the three appraisals, $2,189,000. Then on lines 67 and 68, that whereas has been removed.
Offered by Councilmember Champagne, second by Mr. Newsom. What? Any comments from the audience on this? Administration? Mr. Kognovich.
It's only on the changes, right?
No, this
is on the actual.
Oh, this is moving forward.
He amended it and introduced the amended ordinance.
Yeah, this is.
Okay, so this is,
this is
okay.
the ordinance with the changes.
Okay, I just want to confirm and assure the council that when this is gone through, that these funds are going to immediately be put into a fund for the EOC 911 call center.
Correct. I have an introduction that was introduced today
Right.
that we'll vote on next.
I just wanted to confirm that. And
It's been introduced just for everybody's reference. All right, Ms. Kognovich.
Well, one, I don't see how it'll only appraise for $1.8 million when they got houses in Belchase that almost in the millions. And it's on a major highway and the building's so big, but well, that's with everything. And do we get the 20%? Since every landowner in the Piano Keys gets 20% added on, do we get it? No, we ain't us. Today, right now, I'm a councilman for the people of Plaquemines Parish. In another hour, I'll be the commissioner for the port, and I could fight on that side. But
to be complaining because you got to put up the 20%.
Miss McCarty.
I didn't realize I hit the cue, but anyhow. There are a lot of problems with the building, and I think that's why it is lower than anticipated. That's all I wanted to say.
Reverend Edwards.
Yeah, I'm glad this is a very good news that the price went down, but again, I hope that we can get these amendments early, that we're not coming at the last minute, with this, because I didn't have copies of anything. I had to go along with Crystal reading it. So I just hope we can get this stuff to us much earlier.
Yeah, so this has been, on there since at least February 22nd, but we're waiting on the other appraisals instead of withdrawing it and reintroducing it. And then we realized right before the meeting that the port language never got carried over on the average of the 3 appraisals. So to make it clear to the public what we did, that's why it was kind of last minute. But I agree with you, but that's kind of the background on what happened was, but we need to be clear to the public why it's not the original asking price of 2.7 because of all the other appraisals.
I say congratulations on getting the reduction. Okay, how it was done.
Well, it's reduction for the port, but that means the parish loses money. So depends on how you look at it. But I think we're all good on. I mean, I know. I think Mr. Hinckley was good on it after discussions. I think the port is good. I mean, are we ready to move? I mean, Mr. Economist has a good point, but any other comments from the audience? From the table. Oh, Mr. Henry, Doug.
Mr. Conover got a good point, but I think for the people, it's a good deal. It was a good deal.
And that's what we did, basically. Here's a little background just for the public knowledge, is the parish had an appraisal. It was 2.7, I think, roughly. Then the port did their appraisal by law, and it was 1.8. So we got together and we're like, okay, why the big discrepancy? And so we got a third appraisal to make sure, and that was somewhere in the middle. So what we did was add the appraisal prices together and divide by 3. And basically took the average of all of them, just for public record, where everybody knows we did look at it from both standpoints of port and council. You got anything to add, Mr. Champagne?
Mr. Chairman, we had one appraisal for 2.729,590. Then we had 2 other ones that were far below 2 million. One was 1.875, and the other one was 1.965. So, in being, good stewards of the taxpayers' money, we decided to meet somewhere in the middle. Decided to take, as you said, take the average of 3, and came up with this cost, which I think is fair and equitable for both the port and PPG. I yield.
All right, with that, machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
9A3, an ordinance approving a plan of re-subdivision of the property of concession front portion subdivision, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as shown on a map of re-subdivision lots 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. Square B into lots 19A and 23A. Square B, concession front portion, Belchase, Louisiana, by Dragon Limited Incorporated, dated January 4th, 2024. The owner having fulfilled all the requirements of the subdivision and re-subdivision ordinance of the parish of Plaquemines without cost to the Plaquemines Parish government or the parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Gooey.
Offered by Mr. Gooey, Dr. Gooey, second by Ms. McCarty.
5 lots, all adjoining on Burger Street. He wants to combine that into 2 lots, and he'll put duplexes on both lots, and it is zoned for duplex, and it's gone through the process of getting all the approvals. So I yield.
Any comments from the audience? Administration? No table? Machines are open? Passes 9-0. We didn't do this before we got moving. 9B will be withdrawn. 9C, D, E, F will all be deferred. That's 9C, D, E, and F will be deferred. G will be withdrawn. And I think that's it, yes. Wait, what? P?
We're going to defer that.
P will be deferred.
Security?
Okay, so recap really quick. 9B will be withdrawn. C, D, E, and F will be deferred. G will be withdrawn, and P will be deferred. All right, so let me get myself back on track. So we're now to 9H.
An ordinance seeking authority to settle a workers' compensation claim to amend the 2024 operating budget, self-insurance fund, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto, and this has changes.
Okay. On line 2 of the preamble, the word fund is being removed after it's self-insurance is staying, but fund is being removed. It's replaced with self-insurance department and the legal judgments general department. Line 16, again, service legal, the word services after is being removed, and it will now read a review of the legal judgments. On line 17, after self-insurance, the word fund has been removed and the word department has been inserted. On line 23, under section 1, services have been removed and judgments has been replaced. On line 24, the word fund has been removed and the word department has been placed. On line 25, same thing, services is being removed and judgments has been added. In the chart, the department division number is 4312182, and it's services instead of judgments. In the chart, object number is 552.001. Judgments and damages general has been increased by 160,000, and there has been another chart added. 001 general fund department division 526-2570 self-insurance department. Object number 537.610 self-insurance workers comp medical has been decreased by 160,000, and those are the changes.
With that offer with changes, ask for a second. Mr. Champagne, seconds. It's 160,000. What, there was a screw up somewhere that was basically taken out of the emergency fund, which my understanding that was not supposed to be the case. So it's moving it from within the legal department. That's what all the changes are, because I don't think anybody wanted to take this out of the emergency fund. Yeah, so that's what the changes are. It's still the same thing that we've all been briefed on and everything. So any comments from the audience? Administration? Well, he was here.
He was here. Well, I have no comment.
No comment. All right. Machines are open.
He only works an hour a day.
Save money.
Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
I, an ordinance to amend the 2024 manpower structure, Judges Division A Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer ask for a second. Second by Ms. McCarty. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Ms. LaFrance? Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
An ordinance to amend the 2024 manpower structure and operating expenditure budget and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer ask for a second. Second by Mr. Champagne.
Close enough.
Any comments from the audience?
Exactly who?
Administration? Mr. LaFrance.
My screen is blank. I'm being blackballed.
This, this is fire department raise 4%. That's what we're on. 9J. Any other comments? Machines are open. Oh, wait, Miss. Correct. This is coming from the firefighting fund. Does not impact general fund. Dr. Gooey? Right. Yep. Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
L, a resolution of the Plaquemines Parish Council of Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, supporting Woodlands Conservancy's plan to establish a coastal forest center on Woodlands Preserve and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer, ask for a second. Second by Mr. Champagne. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
M, a resolution authorizing the parish attorney or his designee to institute litigation and ratifying any existing litigation relating to the various waterline breaches and other damage to PPG infrastructure which have occurred on or near Highway 23, and to hold Cox Communications Incorporated and or its duly authorized contractors and subcontractors accountable for all damages associated with their activities in Plaquemines Parish, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I will offer. Ask for a second. Second by Ms. McCarty. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Ms. McCarty.
Is this Cox or is this AT&T?
This is Cox. This is the one that was on G Street. That from last year. This is, we've been adding up the costs and everything. And we're so yours is next.
Okay.
I'm sure.
Got it.
Any other comments? Machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
O, a resolution supporting the adoption of Senate Bill Number 88 as amended in the 2024 regular session as proposed by Plaquemines Parish Government and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
We have changes.
Go ahead.
On line 56 and 57, after the language removing section G, more language has been added. Removing section D to remove the ability of the district to levy ad valorem taxes, sales taxes, or hotel occupancy taxes as authorized by LARS 33:9038.39. And on line 62 and 63, the same language is added. Senate Bill Number 88 as amended to remove the ability of the district to levy ad valorem taxes, sales taxes, hotel occupancy taxes as authorized by LARS 33:9038.39. Those are the changes.
With that, I'll offer with changes. Ask for a second. Second by Mr. Newsom. Any comments from the audience? Mr. Henry.
Oh, could you explain to the people what Senate Bill 88 is about?
So Mr. Connick has a Senate Bill 88, which basically will create a special tax incentive district, I forgot the technical term, TIF, that will, based on future sales taxes coming in, we can basically get money allocated directly from the state for infrastructure projects. There was language in the original bill that would allow this board to create taxes. We are in support of it as long as that language is removed, because we are not in favor of new taxes.
Right. Okay.
This only gives us this council the opportunity to create this. Just if the Senate bill passes doesn't mean it's automatically created. We still have to create a new ordinance at that point to create this board, which then will go after infrastructure projects with taxes, future taxes. So that's basically the gist, is to give us that opportunity if we so choose, but this board will not have the opportunity to create new taxes of any sort.
Well, explain.
Any other comments from the audience? Mr. Newsom.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, last week, was it last week, President?
Yes.
Last week, myself and President Hinckley went to about this to Connick's office. Kudos to President Hinckley. He stood up in his office, and I was sitting there, and he says, "You will not be allowed, this board, to levy any taxes." He said, we will not support it. He says, I will not even bring it up to the council to do it if that's in there. And it's, as you can see with this legislation, it's been taken out. So kudos to President Hinckley for that. Thank you, and I yield.
And with that, I think nobody on this council was in favor as the bill was written unless that language was removed, because we all said no new taxes. So, Mr. Hinckley, I skipped over. You have any comments on this? All right. With that,
We'll probably be going back up this coming Wednesday to support Senator Connick.
correct. All right. Machines are open. Passes 9-0. We are going to, 10.
10, approval of the minutes from the March 28th, 2024 regular meeting.
Offered by Mr. Kognovich, second by Mr. Newsom. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Machines are open. Passes 9-0. We are going to skip over 11A and go to 11B for right now.
District 7 update, speeding on Happy Jack Lane and Lake Hermitage. Good.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
We good.
11C.
District 8 update, discussion on vegetation in the Ali Canal. Councilmember Jurisic.
We talked about it the last meeting. I just want to stay on Billy's heels about this one, that we got to get some vegetation out, and I think Councilmember Konovich had something he might want to add.
Yes. I talked to Weed Out and about some product he had for the fort that I got to get from him. You put it in there and it'll keep the vegetation down. Now, I don't know how it would work in the drainage canal, but, you know, if it's a dead-end canal, okay to try it, you know.
We need the L, right?
All right. You good, Mitch? All right. At this point, we are going to go back to 2.
Executive session, discussion of litigation in accordance with LRS 4217A2 Plaquemines Dirt and Clay Company LLC versus Plaquemines Parish Government, 25th JDC number 66276, Attorney L.V. Cooley, Councilmember Schultz. Discussion of litigation in accordance with LRS 4217A2 Sharon Brandon versus Plaquemines Parish Government et al. Docket number 68513, Division B, 25th Judicial District Court, Parish of Plaquemines, State of Louisiana. Danny P. Garrett III, Councilmember Schultz.
With that offer, ask for a second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Konovich. Any comment from the audience? Administration? Machines are open. Passes 9-0. We'll go into executive session at 4:26 p.m. You're good? We'll return from executive session at 5:15 p.m. No final or binding action was taken in executive session. At this time, we'll go to 11A.
11, new business. 11A, introduction of resolutions where a suspension is being sought. A resolution to authorize Special Counsel Danny P. Garrett III to provide representation for the defense of the Plaquemines Parish Council, the named individual members of the Parish Council, and the named individual former members of the Parish Council in the matter of Sharon Brandon versus Plaquemines Parish Government et al. Docket number 68513, Division B, 25th Judicial District Court, Parish of Plaquemines, State of Louisiana, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer for suspension. Second by Mr. Kognovich. Any comments from the audience? Administration? This is for suspension only. Machines are open. Passes 8 with Mr. Edwards stepped away. All right.
A resolution to authorize Special Counsel Danny P. Garrett III to provide representation for the defense of the Plaquemines Parish Council, the named individual members of the Parish Council, and the named individual former members of the Parish Council, and the matter of Sharon Brandon versus Plaquemines Parish Government, et al., docket number 68513, Division B, 25th Judicial District Court, Parish of Plaquemines, State of Louisiana, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I have an amendment that I'm going to offer on line 67. Be it resolved by the Plaquemines Parish Council that the Plaquemines Parish Legal Department is authorized, and we're going to remove the name Danny P. Garrett III. And then on line 79, it will read now, of the parish council will be afforded the opportunity to be represented by Danny P. Garrett III or the Plaquemines Parish Legal Department, such choice to be left to the individual person, and all else remains the same. I'll offer that amendment. Ask for a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Newsom. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Or wait, Ms. LaHaye? So we are going to give the current council members the option of going with the parish legal department or Mr. Garrett as our counsel, and then the former council members, correct, will be given the choice going with Danny Garrett or Mr. Garrett. Or if they choose not to go with anybody, that's their choice, but the parish will not pay for that lawyer. So, correct. So this is just giving the current council members the option of using the parish legal department along with or Mr. Garrett.
Okay, all right.
Any other questions by audience, administration? Mr. Jursich? Oh, wait. So the current council members has the choice of going with the parish legal department. The former council members or Danny Garrett, correct. Both of them, yeah. Both the current council members and the former council members have the option to go with Danny Garrett or the parish legal department. So you have either or, if you so choose, the current council members named in the suit or the former council members. And then if you want to go with your own lawyer, you have every right to do that, but the parish will not pay for it.
Okay, so I can choose Danny Garrett or the current parish legal department.
Correct? Yes. Yes.
I just need to let you know that we are going to have to hire outside.
Correct.
And we will need an appropriation.
Correct. We'll deal with that once we know who everybody chooses. So to be clear, former council members that are named in this lawsuit, current council members named in this lawsuit, have three options basically. Parish legal department, Danny Garrett, or they can go with their own lawyer outside those two at their own expense. Does that make sense to everybody on this table? Does that make sense? For if you choose to go with your own lawyer, it's at your own expense. If you use Danny Garrett, it's the government, because you were acting in your official capacity at the time, will be represented by, if you choose Mr. Garrett, Mr. Garrett.
Counsel, the attorney.
Please, can you come up to the mic? What?
Ms. LaHaye,
Can you come up to the mic? We got to have everything on record.
Because it keeps kind of changing.
Danny's saying that.
Okay.
lower the mic.
Nancy LaHaye,
Lower the mic.
426 Planters Canal Road, Bellchase. My question is this. I'm involved in it.
Correct.
If I choose Danny Garrett, it doesn't cost me. If I choose the parish council, the parish's attorneys, your current council attorneys,
Does not cost you.
it doesn't cost.
Only if you go
If I
with your own-
choose to go outside of those two groups, then it's at my own expense.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And what Mr. Hinckley said, that because the parish legal department might have to hire outside legal help, that there will be an appropriation done by this parish government to give them more funds to hire that outside legal. But it will be parish legal, it will be through the parish legal department.
That's what I.
Does everybody understand that? What? Correct. So that's the amendment. All right, Mr. Jursich.
Yes, the third option, where is that being shown? Because if I don't want either one, you said there's a third option.
It says, basically, you don't have to take us up on that offer.
And you're going to pinpoint that to me? Is it right here? To the extent such individual members and former members so choose as part of the representation? I mean, right now you offered two. You offered Danny Garrett and you offered the administration. Yeah, but where in here does it say? Because I am mentioned as a former council member. Now I am. My name is in it. And I don't want my name in it. I really want my name completely out of it. I don't want no representation from the government at all, because I feel like I was not part of the government at the time. And I do believe that some way, shape, or form, my name just needs to be off. But right now, it's mentioned, my name is basically mentioned as a council member. So what I'm trying to figure out is where is that third avenue in here?
Because on line 73, you're not waiving any conflict of interest. So if you don't waive it, then you're going out on your own at that point. Correct, Mr. Garrett?
I mean, you could add another.
I would like to be more concise, to tell you the truth. I mean, I would like.
And you could add another paragraph to specifically state that any member who chooses other than the two options afforded to them, they would do so at their own cost.
I would like to see something like that in writing.
Okay, so at the end of line 81, we're going to add to the amendment. Well, no, I'll add it to this amendment. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, Ronnie, can you remove your second? I'll remove my offer. Okay. So the original amendment, we added to line 68 and 79. I'm adding to this amendment to line 81. If any member shall choose to be represented by outside counsel, they shall do so at their own expense. Is that satisfactory?
Other counsel, outside counsel, other than what was mentioned.
As any, well, yeah, I don't think we need to say counsel. Any member, because it's your former or named former. Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's.
All right, here's the amendment.
No, I don't want to.
At the end of line 81, it will now say, if any member, current member of the Plaquemines Parish Council and named former members of the Parish Council chooses to go with outside counsel, they shall do so at their own expense.
Sounds better.
I will offer those amendments with those three changes.
And I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Newsom. Any comments from the audience? Everybody's clear on what we are voting on. Doctor?
And I think it would behoove us to just remind everyone that the parish charter allows for the parish legal department to represent any council member. But we also can hire special counsel, and those are specific language in the charter that allows that. So everything that Chairman Schultz is saying is in the charter. Okay, that's it. I'm done.
Everybody's clear. Machines are open on the amendment. Passes 9-0. Now we'll vote on the resolution as amended.
A resolution to authorize Special Counsel Danny P. Garrett III to provide representation for the defense of the Plaquemines Parish Council, the named individual members of the Parish Council, and the named individual former members of the Parish Council in the matter of Sharon Brandon versus Plaquemines Parish Government et al., docket number 68513, Division B, 25th Judicial District Court, Parish of Plaquemines, State of Louisiana, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer. Ask for a second. Well, no, because, yeah. Second by Mr. Kokrovich. Any comments from the audience? Administration, Mr. Clark.
Hi, David Clark, 108 Avenue A, Belchase. I know it lists the council members as part of the suit. Can you tell me if Mr. Garrett himself is listed in the suit as well?
I am. It's a matter of public record,
Okay.
which is why we have to have the language in there about waiver, because if I'm both a party and representing them, there has to be a waiver of that potential conflict of interest. That's why we put that specific.
Okay, I just wanted to make it clear because thanks.
All right. Any other comments from the audience? Administration. Council. Machines are open. Passes 8-1 with one no vote from District or Reverend Edwards. No. All right. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Mr. Newsom, second by Mr. Jursich. Machines are open. Passes 9-0. We have adjournment at 5:28 p.m.